So here we are with episode 12, the final episode of Doctor Elise, the royal lady with the lamp. Last episode, everybody hates Linden, so we were just dunking on that man and he was just taking it. And Elise is now in danger, so we will just have to see how she gets herself out of this precarious situation. Or maybe she'll just die in Isekai again. If you guys like the video, like the video. If you dislike it, dislike it. I do have my full length up on Patreon and early access on the YouTube memberships. Other than that, let us get started. Alright, Elise, how you gonna get out of this, huh? Because you're about to get a swing. Oh, we only got two people. It's either... Yeah, it's what's his face? Mikhail. There you go. Was it Mikhail who's been listening to them in the fucking hallway? Of course, that's why they showed that scene in particular. Unfortunately, it was, huh? Good, get rid of the evidence. It's a shame. Haha. Silly villains. Discussing their plans in a fucking hallway. That's why y'all need to talk to each other in a room by yourself. And make sure that nobody else is around you, you know? If you guys got magic or something, you know? Although, the magic in this world hasn't really showcased it as much. Right? The only sort of magic that we've seen in this world is the amulet that Linden has. Other than that, everything is rather non-magical and a little bit more science-based. Somewhere around there. I was thinking about the world of Tear Moon Empire, because Tear Moon Empire doesn't have any magic. It's just a little bit like a different reality of... I was gonna say the Victorian era. That's somewhere around there. Yeah. And then Mikhail's like, you know what? You're right. Just tosses her off the bridge. Oh. Oh. I'll fucking behead both of y'all. Oh, here comes the gang. Man's over here fighting the third prince and everything. Well, I guess he's doing the execution for them. Jesus Christ. No blood whatsoever. The dude in the back who just ran. That's so funny. He's lucky he got kicked off the bridge and not stabbed. I need to go. Yeah. Minchester needs her. Meanwhile, Linden's just watching from the window. Wait, what happened to the other guy who was gonna get the carriage? The shit? In his tests. What are these other tests? Is it the blood tests? The king just really needs some sugar right now. Give him some lemonade. Who's the second prince? Yeah, unlike your first timeline, right? Where you didn't do anything. Hold on, y'all. It's not over till it's over. Oh yeah, since he's gonna die anyways, might as well cut into him, alright? Yo, we need Linden here for cutting support. Damn, he didn't stand up once? Oh, everybody just sitting around. Technically, this is Linden's gang, huh? Damn, what is this room? Who? Got that sound of just tearing through the skin and the blood just... Oh, a little bone cutter. God, dude, I would fucking faint if, like, I woke up during open heart surgery. I mean, that would probably be good, right? I just wake up, my chest is... Uh-oh. What'd you do this for? But there was no blood clot. Ugh. Ugh. Something else is wrong, eh? It was just on the other side. Was that a seed? Oh, something that's growing on his gland mass. Lymphoma. So is it not diabetes? Oh yeah, so it is the hospital. They took him all the way to the... Damn, it's fucking morning time. Oh, Mikhail left? Mm-hmm. The two princes can marry each other. That'll end the fucking feud. And now she's gonna get... she's gonna go to the exam? No! The fuck, dog? She studied for how many months now? I didn't even realize Chris and Ren were both in the same room, along with the dad too. Damn, how the fuck did Linden get out? He teleported. What do you mean it wasn't? Wait, it wasn't that bad? Wasn't that great? You saved the fucking king! No, I was thinking he was gonna grab her hand. Well, at least Linden uses protection, am I right? And come in here after her surgery, no sleep, gonna fucking come into the exam and ace it. Or she fails because she fucking falls asleep. She's too tired. Ooh. Very nice. Oh, fucking hit her with that doki doki, dude. Oh, shit. Oh my god. He was wrong this whole time. Alright, you gotta get to your exam. Go, 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 go. Yeah. You fucking think you can actually answer that? Or ask him that question? You got an exam to take. These are some big papers. Child's play? Incredible. Only one person passed. Ooh, 98 points. Yeah, that's from her tiredness. Pneumonia and cold. The most basic? They couldn't read her handwriting. They just marked it as bad. Oh, that's so funny. Hell yeah, she could have gotten 100. Well, you can't say no to her now. And she saved your fucking life. And cured you of your conditions. I believe so. They had low faith in you. Alright, you've won the bet. Well there, Linden. Sounds like you're kind of putting all the blame on her. Alright, I'm back to hating Linden. Now that you showed me that. Damn, he was ready to give up. The fuck? I mean, I know she can do it, but like, after literally saving the king from dying. Oh, here she is as a nurse, Julianne. Oh, and she is going out on a date with Linden. All these things in the webtoon. Go read them. Alright, that is the end. Oh, it ended, so there's that, you know? As per usual, right? It goes through a, go read the webtoon kind of feel. They did have, like, just a little bit of flashback just to, you know, remember how we all started. So there's that. Kind of hit off the check mark of all the things that you need for a for a finale of an anime that's not the end, like the actual ending of it. Okay, you know what? I don't know why it finally fucking clicked in my head on the ending. Maybe it's because the first time I feel like I've actually paid attention to it. So, like, the whole thing, I guess I just never really realized the beginning of this, because, like, this is, like, I would presume kind of like an ember, as it burns through, like, her two lives, right? It finally dies down in her third, and so she finally starts walking on this barren, which I would presume burnt land, a land that is lifeless, until towards the end when she finally sees that life starts anew, life finds a way, which is also her finding her way to her third life. Okay, damn it. Alright, finally clicked towards the end of the fucking final episode. But alright, we are gonna get right back to the center. Alright, so that was episode 12, the final episode of Doctor Elise, or Surgeon Elise. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this anime is a 0 out of 10. I did not see a fucking lamp anywhere towards the end of this episode. Ooh, I'm so upset. But on a serious note, I mean, I've kind of mentioned what I said, right? That this episode finishes the conclusion, which is getting the king back up to health. He may not be able to rule anymore, but at least he'll fucking live on to his olden life. And also, does that mean that this whole time he didn't have diabetes and he just had lymphoma this whole time? Again, I'm not really, I don't have much medical knowledge on whether, like, lymphoma has the same symptoms as diabetes, or is that something that's just an onset on top of his chronic illness? You know, he just has diabetes and then he also has lymphoma. I don't know. They never really mentioned diabetes again in this part, so the moment they found the lymphoma, I'm just okay, I guess that's fucking it. Mikhail comes to save Elise, because, of course, he's the guy who was listening to these dudes talking about it in the fucking hallway, and he goes to save Elise, and you know, he cares very much about Elise. He even calls her by her nickname, Lise, out here, and he cares about his dad at the very least, right? That he wants her to save his dad. She goes and she saves the dad, right? She has this idea of the operation, but she needed family permission first. And she does the surgery, she finds the blood clot, and then she also finds the little gland mass that goes to say that it's lymphoma. It's just right there, latched on to his heart. And just to really shows how much of a girl boss she is. Right after the surgery, after saving the king, she goes to take the exam. What a fucking boss move, dude. During that moment, she realizes that Linden is Ron, as she finally recounts that the royal family has some sort of object that allows them to switch appearance, so she puts all that together before she could say, "Are you Ron?" She's got to take the exam, right? And everybody in the exam failed. I would personally, because they made the test too fucking hard. Is that the case? I don't know. But they just said there's one outstanding person, and that person is Elise. And the only reason why she had a 98 out of 100, she only missed the last 2 questions, or the 2 easiest questions, is because her handwriting is just so fucking shite that they just didn't know what the hell she was writing about. It's so funny. It's God, the doctor handwriting continues to fucking haunt her. But hey, she's still, you know, what they could have done if they really wanted to make sure that, like, she got those answers correct, they could, like, bring her to a room and then ask her to answer these questions, right? To answer, or honestly, just get her to fucking read her writing. So then you guys can figure out whether it's correct or incorrect. That's like, if you guys did that and you guys corrected her on that, she could have gotten 100, and like that would just go down in history as like she's the first woman ever to get the imperial rose. She's like the first woman ever to get 100 on this very difficult test. She is just transcending. She is creating history out here. Albeit, you know, 98 is still big. So okay, on to what I think about the anime as a whole. The first episode, I thought it was alright, you know, really goes through the whole world of her second life. Remember those times when I was thinking about, oh, maybe we'll get to see a little bit more of that? No. Of course, it's gonna go through, like, other isekais. You got a buttload of life story on, like, the previous generation, the previous lifeline, and then we never really hear about it, or we just get only small mentions about it, and that's totally fine. Second episode was lacking in the whole doctor department. It was really more politics and, like, war and shit. So it was just kind of, you know, it kind of felt like another build-up. It you know what it feels like? It kind of felt like how the Eminence and Shadow started. And that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, the first 2 episodes really feel like it was building up to something. But then once we get to the 3rd episode, Elise actually is able to do what she wants to do. I felt that the anime started picking up a whole lot more, and I started enjoying the anime as a whole. I mean, it appeared I enjoyed the webtoon, because I read through, like, almost till, like, the end before I stopped reading, which I would presume I stopped reading because that was during the time when Manga Dex went down, so. But there is one thing that I've kind of just been heckling about for this show, is how Elise comes off with main character syndrome. And for shows like this, shows like these, it kind of feels a little difficult, perhaps. For me, I feel it feels a little difficult on how to smoothly and naturally ease Elise into a situation that doesn't feel like the reason it happened is because she is there. It kind of feels like the anime just kind of toys upon it at some point, you know, like, especially with the fucking theater fire. I thought that was very funny. Really, main character syndrome just fucking hits right there. But, you know, in all the other scenes, right, she's just chilling, she sees an old woman, she's just like, that old woman looks sick. Oh, well, lo and behold, the old woman was sick this whole time. Well, technically, she was gonna choke, but, you know, close enough. Or, like, when she goes to Grams' house, and then Yodo started getting fucking problems just when Elise was there. You know, it's like main character syndrome just fucking hits right there. She just happens to be in the right place at the right time, and that's just how it is for Elise. And when it comes to these sort of situations, you know, it's just like, oh, the whole choking thing, I suppose, could be a little natural, but then we also know that Elise knew that she could get choked up, so then, anyways, how do you move these pieces without making it feel like they move around the main piece, right? It kind of feels like the world literally revolves around Elise and things happens around her, instead of the world itself being a natural thing that moves on whether Elise is there or not. I don't really have a solution or a band-aid to this sort of feel. I'm also thinking about World War Z for some reason, because that one also kind of goes through not the book, but the movie. goes through I've never read the book, but in the movie, right? Brad Pitt, whose character name I don't remember, but he goes through a main character syndrome too, where he just happens to be in this situation, and like this town that's been alright this whole time, but now that he's here, suddenly the fucking zombies like just get a big idea, they get big brain, and they just topple over the fucking walls. Like, main character syndrome. He comes in, something starts to fucking happen. As I said, I did find this in the anime to be very fun, very entertaining. Just know exactly that something bad is gonna happen, and just see how ridiculous it's gonna be. I know that this came from a Korean webtoon, and I remember the Korean webtoon had a bit of a different style, and also I feel like in certain webtoons, especially like Korean or Chinese webtoons, they always look very pretty. So like this getting translated over to anime, I do feel the colors are a bit dull. I do feel the color, the art style itself is a little, I don't want to say basic, but that's currently all in my head right now. That's kind of how I feel compared to what I remember of the webtoon. That being said, right, if you have read the webtoon and you remember how the art style is, feel free to let me know if there's like the changes. I also know that they've changed the character's name from Korean to Japanese because this is a Japanese anime, and they've just decided that they're gonna, which, you know what, I feel like there have been other Korean webtoons where they keep the Korean name, so I'm not really sure why they decided to switch it up. Whatever. I like Elise as a character, very serious and wants to do the best that she can, although for characters like her, you kind of have to knock her down a peg at some point. You know, you can't have her just be constantly hitting a 100% success rate, even though that's not, like, I mean, she is also an anime character, so, like, she's doing the impossible. A surgeon who has a 100% success rate, like, that is ridiculous. I don't know the average percentage for surgeons, but like it has to at least be 90%, because like there's no way a surgeon is able to do it at 100, unless, you know, they're just fucking superhumans, and that could be Elise. She could be a superhuman and do 100%, have a 100% success rate. Who knows? But again, when it comes to characters like these, you gotta have something to knock them down a peg, to humble them a little bit, albeit, you know, as I don't know if I've said this because this is a whole different take, so I'm just gonna say it again anyways. It really feels like the whole show is just on the up and up because Elise has already gone through a lot of suffering before, right? Through her first timeline, and then having to die again on her second timeline, and now here she is on her third timeline, which is her first timeline, and now she's able to go off the beaten path and everything. So like she technically has already suffered. You know, she's already been humbled, so there's really no need for that, but then at the same time, you kind of do for, like, the audience, because, you know, the audience wasn't there for her previous two timelines. We do get glimpses of it, but we didn't get, like, the full story of the two past timelines. So, in terms of, like, issues that Elise would be conjured up for Elise, is that she's gonna overwork herself constantly, and then that's going to perhaps be a cause of her mistake. You know, even someone like Dr. House. God, I remember watching. I don't watch all seasons of Dr. House, but not Dr. House. It's just called House. I don't know. Anyways, his name is Dr. House. Like, even he goes through a few bad moments in his doctoring stuff. Right? Like, we gotta go through a little bit of loss, and he kind of wonders if that would be how it happens in the webtoon. If not, whatever, I suppose. And as much as fun as it is to hate on Linden, I do actually, you know what? I still hate Linden. Fuck him. I hate him playfully. I love Ron though. Ron is great. All right, once Linden and Ron become together, I'll have a love-hate relationship with him, maybe. But Linden, in the beginning, he sucks, bro. I fucking hate this guy. And then he comes back as Ron. Ron is great. Ron is fucking fantastic. He's a good guy. He's cool. Linden is starting to change as well, right? As he sees Elise more and more, and now that his amulet is kind of needing to recharge, and he has to put himself up as Ron, essentially, and Elise finally realizing that Linden is Ron, right? And then her feelings are starting to flare up again. Like, Linden literally does not need to do much. He literally does not need to do much. All he has to do is do the bare fucking minimum. And because Elise is, despite her feeling like she wants to give up on her love, she still has it. So he could just do the bare minimum, and she would just she would just go right back to him. I swear. I wish we saw a little bit more of Yulian. I believe we got a good amount of Graham. I remember somebody told me that Vent, the guy who's like the assistant to Minchester, the king. I don't know why I have to continuously say that Minchester is the king, just because I have not said Minchester since like the last episode. I always call him the king. But Vent, somebody said that he didn't really either exist or he didn't really get all that many lines, but he had to be there, so then it doesn't look like Minchester's just fucking talking to himself, conjuring up all these plans and all that. So there's that whole thing with Vent. I still think it's very funny that Vent is there just to be really fucking petty. He's the one who suggested all this for Minchester, and Minchester's just like, yeah, let's do it. Very fun. Very fun. Oh yeah, totally forgot about the whole thing with Elise coming out here, saving dudes' loved ones, or the people that they care about, and just getting them to fall for her. You know, the same that it goes for how Elise did with Linden and Rando, or Ron technically, and then Elise did the same thing with Graham, and then with his nursemaid YOLO. Just out here saving dude's life and stealing their hearts at the same time. Goddamn, dude, that's the price you pay for letting Elise do surgery on these people. But I currently don't really know what else I wanted to talk about for this show. I thought it was overall very enjoyable. Nothing like super special in terms of like the animation or just overall like the colors are very overall. Again, I do feel that the colors are a little bit dull, but the characters make up for it, and despite how stupid it was in the last episode and how everybody just turned on Linden, I thought that was so fucking funny. It was great, alright? I already had a bias on this Linden guy, and the fact that everybody just decided they also had a bias against him, I was like, hell yeah. This is fucking good shit, dude, good shit. If I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys